What's up, guys? Dracula Fitness here, www.draculaFitness.com. What this video is going to be about is creatine. Creatine, what does it do? How can it be beneficial for us? And where does it come from and what all? You know, I get a lot of questions about creatine. So what creatine is it's a nitrogen acid, you know. And what creatine does is it increases your ATP, your stored ATP in your muscles. What is ATP? It's basically just adenosine triphosphate, you know. That's all AT means, and that gives us the power to contract our muscles, you know. It's stored in the muscles. So creatine increases that stuff, the ATP in our muscles. So obviously adding more creatine to the cells, you know, is gonna help us get more reps, and it's gonna help us get stronger, you know. So now, when should you take creatine? You know, that's when, you know, different studies say different things, and some studies say it should be loaded, you know, for a week or two or whatever. Well, creatine does not have to be loaded, but I will say for the first week that you're taking it, you know, go on and take a little bit more. You know, you don't have to totally load it out with 5 or 10 grams or whatever they tell you to load it out in the first week. You know, you don't have to get loaded, but I will say go on and take a little bit more in your first week so your cells can get saturated with the creatine. You know, and once your cells get saturated with the creatine for like say a week and you start noticing some results, you can taper that down to like 1 to 3 grams per day, because your cells have already been saturated with it. You understand? So you don't have to obviously continue to take large sums of it once your cells are saturated. So you really don't have to load it, you know, but just make sure you get enough in the first week to where you can start seeing some gains, you know, whether that be reps and even a little size. Because what creatine is going to do is it's going to increase your glycogen storage too in your muscles. So you're going to look a little bit bigger, you know. If you watch my other video, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy versus myofibrillar hypertrophy, well, just think about the sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, why I say it plumps up the muscle bellies. Creatine is going to do a little bit of that, you know, and, you know, that's going to result in some more reps, you know, that you're going to be able to get. Now, the type of creatine that I recommend is a creatine monohydrate, just a plain creatine monohydrate. I wouldn't even go for any of the stuff with the sugar in it. They make it, key way to know is look at the ingredients list of a creatine monohydrate or creatine and see if it has any other ingredients, you know, if it has any extra sugar or anything. A lot of times the best kinds are just unflavored. I mean, we're not taking creatine for taste, are we? You know, I know some of you like a good tasting pre-workout, but this is just purely for doing what it needs to do. And it's important that you realize that, because, you know, some of these companies put all this fancy ingredients and taste and things in there, and it dulls down the potency, how potent the creatine actually is. So I would recommend a good, clean creatine monohydrate. You know, I'm not sponsored by the company Tiger Fitness, I mean the website Tiger Fitness, or the company, you know, MTS, but I will say that they make quality supplements. You know, I have tried out other supplements, protein powders and things like that from that company, and they're a good, reliable company if you want to get your supplements from there. You know, I will recommend that. You know, so also one more thing that's important to know is that some protein powders may have creatine already in them, so that may be something you look out for. You know, for instance, what comes to my mind is the latest protein powder that I had taken, which is a couple of years ago, was you know, the MTS Way, which I'm not sponsored by them. I keep on saying them, but I know they make good products, but they actually have a little bit of creatine in them, so you can go on ahead and get your creatine while you having your protein, you know, and that's left up for you if you want to go that route. But, you know, like I said, a creatine monohydrate, you just plain, is gonna do you just fine, and it's the cheapest. So that's what creatine does. It's gonna give you more ATP for more energy to get more reps, let it get saturated in your body, and that's really it. That's all creatine is, and it does work. There's a lot of studies that's been shown that it actually works. You know, that's the only reason why I recommend it, and I don't usually recommend supplements. www.draculafitness.com. Signing out.